Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Alrighty, so I figure we go ahead and work on this 16 pill for just a little bit. I've got some other stuff that's needing to be repaired as well, but this has been here for some time and we haven't had a chance to work on it for all the other stuff that's been going on. But anyhow, I figured we'd go ahead and try to get a few things accomplished on it today. I got the pill set last night on it. Um, and I just tacked this one transformer in because I kind of wanted to see what layout I was going to use. But I figured we'd get back to this and I'd go ahead and try to get a few things taken care of. Let me check here. Okay. Nothing like getting a notification that I'm live. All righty. So anyhow, let's go ahead and try to get some of these resistors tacked in place here. But hopefully everybody's been doing good. Let's see here. Where's that? Send him a message because he said he wasn't getting these messages. So let's see what we can't do here. I know for some of you guys, this is the last day of the week. Been kind of holding off till around 6 o'clock. That way, some of you guys maybe be home, but it's been a pretty good day. Pretty good day. Hopefully everybody's been having a... Hello, JR. Hello, Popcorn. Yeah. Hopefully you got your notification this time, JR. I know you've been out and about and taking pictures of all kinds of cool stuff out there in the wilderness. Whiskey Mobile 128. Hello, Warren. You're in Facebook jail for saying is going to. Oh, that's funny. That is some funny stuff. How you been, Warren? Hopefully everything's been going good on your end. All right, so I've been cutting all kinds of pieces and parts and what have you, so to try to eliminate some of the excess wiring as far as for the 8 gauge on top, I'm actually going to run 2 of them up underneath the board and bring them up out of here. So that's the reason why you're seeing these little black dots. It's because of where I'm going to bring, 2 of the 8 gauge up here, and then I'll bring the other ones, kind of like the Fat Boy amplifier that we did for Hillbilly. It's going to be similar, but I'm going to give myself a little more leeway than what that amplifier had. Again, eliminate some of what was on top. If the spacing in between here was a little bit wider, I thought about going ahead and trying to bring a couple of them up off to the side and things like that to eliminate that. But yeah, it is what it is. So we'll work around everything and make a nice harmonious outcome with it. Don't get paid enough to babysit grown adults. Well, me neither. Hello, 3 maid. Yeah, that happens a lot. As far as overworked and underpaid, especially if you're working for the state. That's what I need, is to find me a good state job. Take care of this one little oddball here that's giving me fits on the strip. Well, thank you, JR. Yeah, like I said, I do apologize. I mean, it just, life sometimes gets in the way of everything else. I mean, you and I have already had that discussion here recently, with what you've had going on. I'm just glad to see that you've been able to enjoy some of life's nature that's been going on here too. We got mushroom season. Love to have another batch of good mushrooms. Of course, I'm getting ready to go back and start working 7 days a week again, whether I like it or not. That's not fun, but it is what it is. Well, good evening, Jeremy. Yeah, Bruce, that's what I've been trying to do, is get away from the 7 days a week stuff, but Yeah, unfortunately, that's getting ready to hit again. So, uh, I don't know if being on days, if that makes any difference or not, as far as on the 7 days a week, because I've never done the 7 days a week on day shift. But that's getting ready to, and so that's getting ready to happen. So, again, it is what it is. However, I should, as far as my understanding, anyways, we're supposed to at least have every other weekend off, so that'll be a plus. Okay, well, we got the resistors down. Go ahead and get the transformers on here. Get the pills soldered down the rest of the way. Ding, ding. Now let's see what that is. Okay. That was a coworker I used to work with. She's looking at taking one of my babies. Yeah, I get every other weekend. I'm pretty happy. You're like me, I know you. Um, as far as with all this. So this amplifier here is actually being set up with 2879C transistors. I know the customer, at first was going to do the regulars, and then he wanted the C's. So we're going to see how this works out with the C's. I mean, I've built them with both, and I've seen good and bad with all of it. So we'll see how this turns out. Yeah, I decided to try to build this one with the 5/8 core. Kind of see how this is going to run. Should do pretty good. I mean, I've seen a lot of these whenever you get into the big ones like this, especially when you're looking at heat. The 5/8 core seems to handle a little bit more in regards to that. I have to apologize for my voice here. I'm still, even though I'm not coughing anymore and things like that, my voice still hasn't gotten back to 100%. When I came back from China, I actually was sick with a pretty bad cold. So, that's another thing too. As soon as I get everybody caught up, Bruce, um, I do have a couple of MOSFET amplifiers that I have been I've gotten started, and that's been about it. Um, but that'll probably be, that'll probably go back to this fall. But I did find an LD MOS that is a smaller transistor, and theoretically, the ones that I found that are realistic in nature, I think they will run on lower voltages as well as some higher voltages. So, I mean, I know what their overall ratings are on it as far as on the high end voltage, but I think that they will function on your standard 14, your standard 14 volts. So, I'm going to try, that out. Like I said, it'll probably be this fall, because as soon as I get everybody caught up, then I'll look into, playing around with some of the different circuits. I'll, not take anything in probably this winter, and then that way I can play around with some of these circuits, and we'll do some videos on that and see, just see what kind of test results we get out of it. So, I've already played around with and built a biasing circuit for them, where they require a certain amount. So we'll kind of see how that all goes. I bought enough to basically do it twice, just to kind of see, if I do make a mistake, we can go back and kind of go from there. All right, I'll wait on the inputs on that side. We'll go ahead and finish putting the outputs in here. Um, 2 pills for sale. I will have to double check. I think I have one in the other section of my building, but I'll have to check. I haven't, because of where I've been doing repairs and everything else, I've not had, I've not had any spare time to sit there and pre-build ahead of time. So, that's something that I definitely will try to get done before Christmas time. That way, I've got a few for sale as far as for Christmas time. But yeah, trying to build ahead has been very difficult the last couple of years. But I think I do have another 2 pill that is for sale. I think I've got a 2 pill, and I think I've got a 1 pill left. I know I've got a 1 pill for sure. Give me just a second here and I'll check. I may have one over here on the shelf. HG2C SSB. Okay, so I do have an HG 2 pill. It is the 2879C series with sideband. You're welcome to send me a message, and I will look up the price on the computer after we finish up here. But yes, I do have at least one 2 pill left. That can ship out, so. Yeah, I sent a message to a buddy of mine that I hadn't talked to in a while, and he used to be really big into the radio. Was kind of hoping he'd pop in here and say hello on the YouTube channel. Well, hello, King. Hello, Gregory B. Hopefully you're doing a little bit better. I know your health has been kind of, well, it's been what it is. I mean, sadly, I've been there with you as far as with what you went through, or what you're going through. So, but hopefully things are going good for you. I know it takes a lot of time to recoup. I don't know if anybody's got any major plans going on for this holiday weekend, but I definitely want to say Happy Easter to everybody. Well, hello, Nick. How have you been, buddy? Been forever since I've seen you on a live feed. I seen where you guys were moving the other day. Hopefully you got that all taken care of. Yeah, I figured I'd spend a little bit of time out here with you guys on a live feed because it's been a while. I mean, I've got a couple of other videos that I need to try to get uploaded yet, which has been kind of hit and miss for some reason. Um, I've had to try to reload a couple of videos like 3 different times for some reason. There we go. Waiting on the internet install. Oh, that's always lovely. Yeah. Thankfully, what I did here a few years ago, and it's been the best thing in the world for me, and I've had, very little issues now with it, is I went over to Verizon and set up with I'll think of it here in a minute, with the Verizon Cube that they've got for internet. It's $50 a month, and the other internet service provider that I had, they were charging me like $150 a month. So a third the price. Now granted, it's only 4G coverage, but it seems to do good as far as uploading videos. I'm still able to do live feeds with no problems. Watch movies online, what have you. So I've been pretty happy, especially for the price. I own my own equipment, so instead of it costing me, you know, like $11 or $15 a month for the equipment, I think I paid $79 for the cube or something like that on a special, and I own it. So, big difference, big difference. Oh, you got fiber. Must be nice. Yeah, that makes a huge difference. Which with the fiber, I mean, yeah, that's is considerably fast. Just make my life a lot easier if we do that. It makes it easier just to tack them in place. Wow, $13 a month, that is pretty good. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, you do a lot more gaming than I do online too, so. Yeah, that's not good, Bubby. Yeah, if you got a relay that's trying to stick on you, yeah, you've got something either trying to go into oscillation or something else going on. Yeah, sorry if my head gets in the way here. Alrighty, well, we got the transformers laid for one half of it anyways. Yeah, I know the financial rut. I mean, I decided to get married here a while back, and you know, uh, some of it I was prepared for as far as with the um, whole thing with my wife being a foreigner and everything else, and some of it I wasn't. Some of it I didn't catch out of the gate, and it's been a very interesting trip or journey, if you will, as far as marrying a foreign woman. Oh yeah. Yep, always expect the unexpected. Yep. Yep, that is for sure. Well, hello, Gary. Either way, it's high maintenance. Boy, you got that right. Usually on that, Bryant, if you've got one that's getting hot on an output combiner, generally you've got a bad transistor. Now that's not always the case. That is the norm. However, I've seen combiners that have been bad where the ferrite has lost its inductance, and that will cause it. That's another possibility as well. Believe it or not, I've actually seen that where the issue has been on the input inductance of the combiner, for example, of a 4-pill. So, I mean, it's not always set in stone as to what it is. I ran into one that it's been a year or two back, but I ran into one that couldn't find what the problem was, and it actually was the input combiner that was causing the output combiner resistor to go bad and heat up and do weird stuff. For whatever that's worth to you. But I would check the combiners, pull an inductance test on them, and see how they're acting or reacting, and then kind of go from there. So I already got this combiner already made up, so let's go ahead and put some resistors on this one. Kind of see how this is going to lay out. So I know I'm going to have to bend these a little bit. Do. Go back. Just trying to get one that's evenly spaced. Been there on that, Gregory. Yeah. Um, both will work. A lot of times I prefer the carbon film. The metal film does work. Your biggest thing, David, is to stay away from wire wound resistors. Now, you will see wire wound resistors used on an amplifier. That is usually just for biasing. That is just for a DC voltage. It is not for RF, for an RF application. When you use a wire wound resistor, RF looks at that not so much as a resistor, but as an inductor. So it throws everything out of whack. But yeah, Nick, as far as rack gear, I mean, I know you've been there, done that, and oh Lord, you know, as far as in the semi, that is a job when you try to do the rack gear stuff. I mean, granted, I do rack gear here in the shop, but that's kind of a whole different, whole different scenario. I need to tweak that just a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah, just think, Nick, here hopefully in another year you'll be back in your own place, and be able to start setting back up and doing some of the things that I know you used to enjoy. And I know whenever I was out west, in the apartment, I mean, wasn't bad, don't get me wrong, but there's only so much that you can do in an apartment. Um, as far as like radio and what have you. Um, very limited, very limited on conditions and space and things like that. And but I know you're out there in Nebraska. I'm pretty impressed with with the rolling hills and stuff that you've got. I'm pretty impressed at how well you can get out. Even out of a mobile. Yes, it was. I went through that with you on that big guy. So yes, you are absolutely right. And my hat's off to anybody that makes it work. For multiple reasons, because it is very challenging to keep things going. You know. down a bit. I'll trim them some more whenever I get a little more refined on it. Figure out where we want to set that one at. Been broken down to a 40 and a 60. Well, with you being where you're at, I'm sure you've got high enough winds, Gary, that 60 is probably about as tall as you want to try to take it anyways. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I like doing the old school. I like doing the old school with the rack gear just because of the fact that it's a more simplified form. Um, that, and I'm not. And I mean, I know several people that it just seems like it comes natural to them when it comes to doing the PC audio, if you will. I mean, my hat's off to you guys. Get my fat fingers in here. that'll hold that all together. Make my life a little easier. Yeah, that was another thing too that really impressed me, Nick, is being able to hear you out there on the bowl. Um, with no more, with no more power than what you were running. Like I said, I think a lot of it just has to do with your location. You've got an extraordinary location as far as when it comes to, um, being able to talk with not near as much power as a lot of the other guys are running. Just like the other day, I had that 16 pill for Hillbilly, and I couldn't get out. I couldn't even get out on 28. With almost 2,000 bird, and it's like, geez, I was at the point of just kind of halfway giving up. You know, it just, for whatever reason, this go around. I mean, I've always done good where I'm at, as far as when the conditions have changed like they have. But for whatever reason, this year has not been a good year for me to be able to get any real good skip. Now, I do have a set of beams. If I can ever get time to get them put together and get them up, which I'm hoping, that I'll be able to later on this year. But yeah, my work schedule is getting ready to change, like I said, slightly. Like I said, I'm not looking to, not looking forward to the going back to 7 days a week stuff, but at the same time, they're telling me that I should be able to get every other weekend off. But I'm not doing the third shift, so that's a major plus. Get on there, feller. See if I can't make my life a little easier and trim half of these off first before we go to the next one. Okay. I'm going to tip off here. I'll trim it down more once we get it actually all set in place and what have you. We'll do the final trim on that. Touch the base of this one up a little solder too, because I didn't do that earlier. Okay. Give it another quarter turn here. Good afternoon, Jimmy. It must be nice, Gary. And that's thermal glue, by the way, in case anybody's interested or curious. That's what we're actually using to bond that down. It makes for a great insulator. And if I ever need to pop it off, it's actually very easy to remove at a later date. There we go. Okay. All righty. Pretty pleased with that. I'll let that dry overnight, and then we'll come back and I'll put the LC network in, and we're actually going to run it over here, and then I'll take a small piece of coax, come over, bring it up here. You know, I've seen where that's been done multiple different times, and I mean I've done it that way. I've also came off of here the same way, and a lot of times, if you can disrupt the field, by either turning it 90 degrees or what have you, you're less likely to have interference. Is one of the things that I have learned here over the last year. With the HGs, there has been a lot more learning that has taken place versus the Toshibas that you could get by with murder on. So, it's actually been a very interesting, so the learning curve, has been there versus like with the Toshibas where, you could kind of halfway build a cookie cutter amp every, and that's not the case anymore. We're dealing with a whole different attribute as far as on transistors. So, it's been, like I said, it's been a very interesting journey dealing with the HGs, as far as how things act and react and what have you. So, again, little things like that, as far as, like I said, just changing the position. A lot of times, as far as back in the old days, you would see where, the input, they would actually move that around in many respects to the front, which there again could be done. Um, but because of the fact that we're kind of in a compacted area, it's very difficult to actually do that, as far as to do your network, even if you put it up against the wall, to make sure that nothing possibly could come off of that, fall down, or cause any issues. So, another way of doing that is still placing it back here, but changing, like I said, changing your, you know, geography of where your inductor is. So, like I said, a lot of really good, interesting things that I've learned over the course of the HG world. So, but anyways, guys, I'm at a good stopping point for tonight. So I'm going to actually stop here. I'm going to eat me some dinner and watch a little TV before bedtime. So, guys, I do appreciate you popping in. Like I said, I wanted to spend some time out here with you. Originally, I was only going to spend about a half hour, 45 minutes, and yeah, I just kept going and wanted to get to a really good stopping point. And part of that has to do with getting these set. Like I said, there's different uh, directions and different spacings, and it's all for a reason. So, that way, if you guys are curious about it. The HGs, they seem to work okay on sideband if they are in 4-pill, if it's in like a 4-pill or something. I've had really good luck in 4-pill applications for sideband. 8 pills is kind of a hit and miss. I really don't recommend anything larger than an 8-pill as far as being biased. I know there are a lot of guys that have had, reasonably good luck doing the 12-pill, 12 pills with that. The only problem with it is sideband, a little bit goes a long way. So with the sideband, a lot of times when you start getting into the really large ones, like a 12 or a 16 pill, and you start biasing them, oftentimes what happens is you don't realize just how much drive is actually going into there, because if you're getting, let's say you're getting 3000 PEP, you might be doing 3000 RMS, which the transistors just aren't really rated for that, as far as like a standard, one. The 2879Cs, I know they do produce more, they will take a little bit more drive, but again, it's very easy to overdrive these amplifiers on the biased side whenever you're doing sideband. So, and it's really, like I said, it's really a challenging method in regards to doing that. Trying to keep from overdriving the amplifiers when you're dealing with the sideband, application. But all right, guys, I appreciate it. Like I said, it's been a wonderful day, being out here with you guys. Please hit the like and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. And, check us out on Patreon. Like I said, I am going to try to get some, new stuff out on Patreon here, hopefully this weekend. I'll set things off to the side and work on a couple of different circuits or what have you, and see if I can't get some stuff on that as well for you guys. But anyways, have a great weekend coming up. Like I said, we've got, Easter, so make sure you eat lots of spotted and colored eggs and all that good stuff. And we will see you on the next live feed. Take care, guys. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend.